Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome IAC Chair Jim Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this year's 2014 Excellence.Gov Awards. One of our most rewarding tasks is to be able to recognize the government and industry folks who create tools and systems that make our government work better. For 14 years, Excellence.Gov has been that opportunity so that we can recognize those people. We also welcome back this year our Master of Ceremonies from last year, John Gilroy. John Gilroy, for those who don't know him, and you should know him, has been an icon in our technical community. He's been a creator of WAMU's Computer Guys and also WFED's Federal Tech Talk. John is a radio regular, teaches also at Georgetown University, and is one of the most familiar voices in our community. And he's also a tall, tan, and terrific guy. Please welcome the original tech guy, John Gilroy.
It's amazing what a $20 bill will get you, you know? Good introduction like that. About 2 months ago, Don and I were talking about this event. He's from ACT IAC. And I said, well, tell me, Don, what is your vision? You know, what is your vision for this event? And he said, he wants it to be the Academy Awards for Govies. I said, wow, that's going to be kind of impressive, hard to pull off. Now, I'm an old geezer, and when I think of the Academy Awards, I think of a guy in a tuxedo walking down the red carpet with an attractive woman with an expensive dress. And if the woman's not involved in the business, they're normally referred to as being eye candy. Well, got some good news, got some bad news. The good news is, today we will have eye candy. The bad news is the eye candy is Don Arnold, right here. Let's see. Yeah, I had a hard time getting the eye candy for this event. Whew. Planning for this event actually begins about 8 months in advance, and the steering committee takes on that burden. On behalf of ACT IAC and all the nominees, finalists, and winners, let's thank our steering committee, Kimberly Hancher. Where are you? Yep, stand up, please. I can't see you. Okay, Kimberly Hancher. Government Chair. Ata John Mez, Industry Chair. It's around here somewhere. Karen Mayhair and Brian Baker, Vice Chairs. Liz Renninger and John Moses are the past chairs. Ron Thompson and Mike Tock round out the committee. Yeah. The judges also do yeoman's work, reading, studying, evaluating, and scoring all of the nominations. There are 44 judges this year, 26 from government and 18 from industry. Would all the judges please stand to acknowledgement? Thank you. I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker for this afternoon, John Koskinen. He is the 48th IRS Commissioner. As Commissioner, he presides over the nation's tax system, which collects approximately $2.4 trillion in taxes every year. This revenue funds most government operations and public services. Mr. Koskinen manages an agency of about 90,000 employees and an annual budget of about $11 billion. In his role leading the IRS, Mr. Koskinen is working to ensure that the agency maintains an appropriate balance between taxpayer service enforcement and administers the tax code with fairness and integrity. Please join me in welcoming him to stage. Commissioner. Go Cleveland. Go Cleveland.
Thanks so much for that kind introduction. I'm delighted to join you. I'm actually a longtime subscriber to the arena stage, and now I can see if you're an actor, you can't see anybody out there because of the lights. But I know you're there. As a former chairman of the Board of Trustees at Duke University, I thought we'd start with a moment of silence. Now, you have to understand it's all part of a longer-term strategy, a strategy to increase the Duke endowment by a modest contribution from an anonymous major investor in the United States, making the contribution in light of the significant amount of money we saved him by actually losing that game. But I am delighted to be here today. I particularly appreciate the recognition given to outstanding government information technology programs. My understanding is that over 300 programs have been recognized by the American Council on Technology and the Industry Advisory Council since they started these awards in the year 2001, and we'll see more added to the list today. To each of the teams representing the 31 finalists this year, I say congratulations, and I think they deserve a round of applause. Like many of you, I've had a long-standing commitment to public service. Most of my 40-plus year career has revolved around helping large organizations in both the private sector and the public sectors respond to significant financial and management challenges. In light of the importance of the IRS to the government, as noted, IRS collects over 90% of the revenues that fund the government and the public. I like to say that it took me about 15 seconds to accept the job of IRS Commissioner I was asked last year because of the importance and significance of the agency. For every organization in this day and age, the planning for and development of information technology systems is increasingly critical. When I joined the Office of Management and Budget in 1994 as the Deputy Director for Management, the government's track record in this area was checkered at best, and numerous agencies were spending billions of dollars and getting relatively poor results. While I was at OMB, I led an effort to blow up the Brooks Act, which some of you older folks will remember, used to govern IT procurement. And we changed the way the government thinks about the acquisition and management of information technology. Working with the Government Accountability Office, we built on their report of the best practices in the private sector, which itself had anything but an unblemished record. At that time, over 50% of the large private sector IT projects failed. Part of the shift included delegating to each agency the responsibility for the IT systems they managed. We also established a set of principles which included using off-the-shelf solutions as much as possible. It was a shift to customizing the work rather than customizing the information technology solution. We also made clear that any significant program should have deliverables that can be tested and used within a 12 to 15-month period. Previous experience was that taking 5 years to build a project and then flipping the switch usually didn't work. We also knew that the business owner of a project needs to work in partnership with procurement and IT if the system is going to ultimately provide the functionality that the user needs. GAO's study showed that projects fail when they're viewed as simply IT projects rather than as enhancement of business operations and processes. Through this entire process, the government in general and agencies in particular have benefited from the relationships developed with private sector vendors such as those here with us today. Those vendors provide the technical expertise and support the government needs. The team supporting our 31 finalists know what a winning effort looks like. Over the years, the government has significantly improved its ability to develop information technology projects. Now that I can see their operations up close and personal at the IRS, it's clear that no agency has made greater progress than the Internal Revenue Service. For nearly 20 years, the modernization of IRS business systems was designated by GAO as a high-risk area of government operations. The IRS needed to make substantial progress bolstering information technology and financial management capabilities, and it had to demonstrate a commitment to sustained progress. In response, the IRS made major improvements, especially to the cornerstone of its operations, which is processing tax returns. The hard work paid off. Last February, GAO removed IRS Business Systems Modernization from its high-risk list. In the report, GAO singled out delivery of the initial phase of the Customer Account Data Engine, fondly known as CADE-2, which allows for daily instead of weekly processing of taxpayer returns. This means our systems run much faster than before, and the IRS was particularly proud that CADE-2 won for excellence in enterprise efficiencies at last year's Excellence.Gov Awards. And this year I'm delighted that 2 IRS programs have been selected as finalists in the category of excellence in enhancing the customer experience. Both programs achieve the goals of increasing efficiency and reducing costs. And I thought I might comment a little briefly on the 2 of them to give you an example of what some of the great programs being honored here today look like, and perhaps to give it a little extra plug, although I think the decisions have already been made. With the Convergence program, the IRS has become one of the first federal agencies to implement a full-scale, enterprise-wide unified communication system. For IRS employees, the program represents a giant leap forward in making the workplace more flexible. It replaces an aging telecommunications infrastructure prone to failures and high maintenance costs, and over the next 10 years, thanks to Convergence, the IRS expects to save money and increase productivity. The results are remarkable. The other IRS program nominated, Virtual Service Delivery, or VSD, allows a taxpayer to interact with an IRS employee in real time using video communications technology. In just 2 years, the IRS more than doubled the number of locations with VSD, and thousands of taxpayers in underserved areas now have virtual access to IRS employees who can help resolve issues, and the results are promising. In fact, I'm in the process of visiting the largest 25 IRS offices around the country, and when I was in Seattle and Portland last week, I actually got to participate in a VSD demonstration, talking with somebody who was in Colorado Springs from the West Coast. Taxpayers are satisfied with the services, and IRS expenses have been substantially reduced. Perhaps most importantly, the program sets the stage for implementing VSD through a web interface. This means that in the future, taxpayers can get face-to-face support from the IRS using a web-accessible device from home or wherever they happen to be. Ultimately, these innovations benefit taxpayers who now have faster and more convenient access to the services they need from the IRS. Speaking of taxpayer services, and as a subtle reminder, we're in the middle of filing season. Remember April 15th, a good date to remember. And while we're constrained for funds and unable to provide the level of service to taxpayers our employees would like, our expanded use of information technology has helped significantly. At this point, the IRS is having one of the smoothest filing seasons in years. We've processed already over 85 million individual tax returns. We've also made great progress developing web applications that allow taxpayers to interact directly with their accounts. From tracking your refund on our famous Where's My Refund app on our website to getting a transcript of your account, many of the things taxpayers do most are now available online. These accomplishments aren't easy. They depend on people like you who are dedicated to improving government through the application of information technology. And so I congratulate all the teams being recognized today and all of the agencies benefiting from your successes. Ultimately, the major benefactor is the American public, which gets easier access to government programs and more efficient government operations. This is a goal I think we all share, and the finalists today here deserve recognition for the outstanding work they've done in service to the country. Thank you for the invitation to join you in celebrating today, and again, congratulations to all the finalists and the soon-to-be-announced winners of this year's Excellence.Gov Awards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Koskinen. And now we turn to the suspense and tension that accompanies the presentation of awards. Because Excellence.Gov is the Academy Awards for Government Technology, it has been described as the pinnacle for recognition of a technical program. 6 categories, nominees for finalists in each one. First category is Excellence in Customer Service. It's based on how a program makes life better for citizens, businesses, or even other government components as consumers of technology. The finalists in Consumer Experience are America's Economy mobile app from U.S. Census Bureau. Could you please stand up? Sit down quickly. Right here, okay. Yep. Business USA from U.S. Department of Commerce and the Small Business Administration. Can't see them. Great, great. Convergence Unified Communications, IRS, Information Technology, User and Network Services. Please stand. Max Authentication, Office of Management and Budget, Managing Partner, Department of Education. Please stand. Virtual Service Delivery, IRS. Please stand. The envelope, please. Virtual Delivery Service, Internal Revenue Service. And John's going to get out the award. John, you.
Some of you may, is this still on? Some of you may believe the fix is in. But I would like to note that I had no idea who was going to win until it was pulled out of the eye, honestly. But congratulations.
You want to give me the award? You want to come down? You want to? Oh, she's crying.
Yes. Come on, my team.
You want to give us a couple words, ma'am?
First of all, this is quite a surprise, and we're just very honored to accept this award. And as the commissioner said, this is a project, a service that really supports the taxpayers. Through the virtual service delivery application, we're able to serve so many taxpayers so efficiently in remote locations, in underserved areas, and the response has just been phenomenal. And I just couldn't say enough about the hard work that was done by this team. They worked really diligently to make it happen. So, Sabrina, why don't you just say a word about the project? I have to put you in front. Go ahead.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you for recognizing our achievements, and most of all, we just want you to know we service, like she said, we're in Waterloo, Iowa, and places like that, and we make it very easy for our taxpayers now to be able to connect with IRS assisters. And out of that, one of the things that was so wonderful and promising to us was that 92% of the taxpayers that use virtual service delivery are happy with the service and said they will do it again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great. You can stick around and take off.
What are you going to do? You're going to do
Our next award is for digital government. The digital government category is for programs that use mobile and distributed technology that allows for better mission performance. The finalists are Federal Sector Enterprise Portal, FEDSEP, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC. Please stand. Oh, great. I better give them the awards. A big crowd here, huh? Global Combat Support System, Army, GCSS Army, U.S. Army. Please stand. JAG Connect, U.S. Army, Office of the Judge Advocate General. Please stand. Whoa. Now I'm scared. Web Enterprises, Services and Technology, West Prime, NASA, Office of the CIO. Okay? And finally, Web Integrated Financial Management Information System, IFMIS, FEMA, OCIO. Please stand. The envelope, please. Johnny Carson, remember this? Yeah, he and I both remember this one. And the winner is JAG Connect, U.S. Army, Office of the Judge Advocate General. You mentioned that JAG Connect played a role during the government shutdown last year. How did that work out?
Well, that's a very loaded question. But the beauty of what this team of professionals did was, as we had employees furloughed at home, we were able to get information out to them using the different platforms that we have pulled together to increase our ability to share information. We're an interesting group. This is a bunch of lawyers behind me, all judge advocates in the Army, and we pulled them out of the day-to-day business of practicing law because this area is as important as it is to the way our law firm, which has around 10,000 lawyers and paralegals in the Army's Judge Advocate General's Corps, how important this area of knowledge management and sharing is. So on behalf of the Office of the Judge Advocate General of the United States Army, we're happy to accept this award, and we thank you very much for hosting us today.
Great. Congratulations. Thank you. Okay, take out. Good. Thank you very much for helping.
This was terrific.
Our next award is for enterprise efficiency. The category for enterprise efficiency covers programs that have succeeded in saving time and money, that have improved mission performance, and have made operational activities work better in government. The finalists are Crop Insurance Program Compliance and Integrity Data Warehouse, United States Department of Agriculture Risk Management Agency. Please stand up quickly. Over here. Okay. Enterprise VoIP, Department of Justice, Executive Office for U.S. Attorneys. NASA IT Labs, NASA OCIO. Network Enterprise Center, Fort Bragg, NECFB, Department of the Army. Product Director Enterprise Email, PDEE, Department of Defense Enterprise Email Service, U.S. Army. I need Koskinen to help me in this one. And the winner is Crop Insurance Program Compliance and Integrity Data Warehouse, U.S. Department of Agriculture. Come on down. Do you have an estimate how many dollars your program has saved? Tell us a little about the program, please.
The program oversees approximately $130 billion in liability for all the crops grown across the United States. And what we're managing to do is save somewhere between $100 and $200 million a year by stopping fraudulent payments from going out the door. And so since the inception of the program in December of 2000, the Congressional Budget Office estimated that we'd saved somewhere between $3 and $4 billion. Thank you.
Whoa. Congratulations. Thank you. A lot of savings. Our next award is for Excellence in Health IT. I've conducted over 350 interviews on Federal News Radio. I always know my ratings and what's popular, what's not. Healthcare IT consistently ranks in the top 4 or 5 every single year for interest, so it's a hot topic. It's really, really important, and that's why I think ACT has included it in the awards this year. Health IT is a relatively new category, introduced this year to recognize programs that are contributing to the delivery and effectiveness of healthcare to military personnel, veterans, and citizens. The steering committee felt that this category represented a significant area for technology leverage, and we have seen that this is a fertile area based on the nominations and the finalists selected by the judges. And the finalists in this category are Defense and Veterans Eye Injury and Vision Registry, Department of Defense, Veterans Administration. Please stand up. Electronic Health and Human Services, EHHR, Innovating Human Services in Virginia, Office of the Secretary of Health and Human Resources. Stand up, Virginia. Okay. Medical Communications for Combat Casualty Care, MC4, U.S. Army, PEO, EIS. Mobile Applications for Mental and Behavioral Health, U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Please stand. And finally, Parkinson's Disease Biomarkers Program Data Management Resource, PDBP DMR, NIH. Let's stand up, please. And the winner is, hope it's easy to pronounce, Medical Communications for Combat Casualty Care, MC4. Come on down. There we go. Tell me, Orlando, how many soldiers and veterans are being impacted by MC4, please?
Since the program was initiated in '99, I was a deputy at that time, and I've been the deputy at the PM all that time. Getting ready to retire this coming May. Since we started the program, we've collected about 17 million electronic encounters that have been transmitted and stored and sent on to the VA, many of them. So we've impacted the Army, and thanks a lot for this. Keith?
I just want to say on behalf of the soldiers that's out there, one of the good things about this program is it's documenting soldiers' care at the point of injury on the battlefield, and that when they get out of the Army, they come out of the service, that they're able to make a better claim because their injury was documented in the system, an electronic system. One of the things that coming out of the Gulf War in the early 90s, there wasn't a record of those soldiers' records of what happened to them on the battlefield. One of the things that this program definitely does is enable soldiers to be able to reach back and have their care documented. So on behalf of the PM and MC4 team, we thank you.
The next award is for intergovernmental collaboration. The fundamental purpose behind ACT-IAC, turn around, that's what we're here for, is to encourage and enable collaboration within and across government, and this award recognizes programs that cross agencies or bureaus to provide efficiency by sharing capabilities. The finalists are Benefits.Gov, Department of Labor, Office of the Assistant Secretary for Administration and Management. Please stand up, please. Defense Connect Online, DCO, Collaboration Branch, PEO, ES at DISA. Please stand. Modernizations of Performance Payout System, PPS, Office of Project Management and Information Technology. Stand up, please. NASA Engineering Network, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Office of the Chief Engineer. Please stand up. Parking and Transit Subsidy Application Tool, the PTSAT, Department of Homeland Security, Office of the Chief Readiness Officer, Office of Chief Information Officer. Please stand up. Okay. And finally, ERDMS, Email Enterprise Records and Document Management System, Department of the Interior, Office of the Chief Information Officer. Please stand up. And the most collaborative person in this room is going to be in this envelope, and the name is Benefits.Gov, Department of Labor, Al Sloan. Come on down. Come on down, Al. Famous radio personality these days, you know, he's on the guest with me a couple weeks back.
Thank you, John.
Take some pictures.
All right.
Al was in the radio studio with me a couple weeks back. He walked in the studio and said, "John, you got a face for radio." I said, "Come on, you're taking over my gift here, you know? You can't..." Talk a little bit about your program here for the people in the audience.
So before I talk about the program, where's that guy from the IRS? I wanted a coupon for what's coming up.
Get on a jail-free card.
Where is he? Yeah, he left on time, right? So anyway, Benefits.gov is the official benefit program for the federal government. We started back in 2002, and we have 17 different federal partners. We administer benefits for a lot of the agencies that they would have on their site. It's a shared service provider. We're one of the original shared service providers. The more benefits we have on our site, the cheaper it is for the partners. We started off with 55 benefits. We're now up to over almost 1,192. So we've grown through the years. I do want to recognize a team that's a little bit shy up here. We have our outreach team who really deserves this award. It's great to have you guys here. It's great to have us working with you. Also, I'd like to recognize in the audience is our Deputy CIO, who is also shy, but thank you all.
The final category is pilots and startup projects. Excellent nominees have been traditionally had a Excellence nominees have traditionally had requirement that they be operational for at least 6 months. In 2013, the steering committee introduced this category to recognize new efforts that were in the beginning stages of operations, but that showed the ingenuity and imagination that is required to achieve excellence. And the finalists in the category of pilots and startups are AdNet, Advanced Analytics, EPI-C, Epic Link Pilot, AdNet, Network Services Directorate from DISA. Please stand. The networks, this one's going to be kind of tough. This is CDAT, CCOM Equipment Diagnostic Analysis Tool, and VLAR, Virtual Logistic Assistance Representative, CCOM, LCMC, FDS, TSD. I'm confused. CDAT, please stand up, please. Okay. EVIP, Electronic Vendor Invoicing Program, National Institutes of Health. Please stand. Identity Management Enterprise Services Architecture and Continuous Evaluation, Department of Defense, Defense Manpower Data Center. Is anyone here from, there we go. And finally, Program Integrity Tools, Department of Veterans Affairs, Veterans Health Administration, Chief Business Office. Please stand and be recognized. There we go. And the winner is Program Integrity Tools, Department of Veterans Affairs, Veterans Health Administration. Come on down. I want to talk a little bit about it, Mike?
Program Integrity Tools is a project to reduce or eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse in healthcare claims. It was a tremendous challenge as well as a reward, and I can tell inside war stories at the networking dessert afterwards. Thank you.
Each year, ACT-IACT and their judges select one of the nominations as the best overall program. This has been called the Most Excellent Award. Kind of sounds like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, doesn't it? Hey, dude, most excellent. So I think we try to change the title of the award a little bit this year, make it a little more serious and more worthy of the recognition. This year, we have given the overall award a title, the Award of Excellence, in that little box over there. We have a couple special guests I'd like to invite to help me. Can Stacy Charlin come down, Director of National Institutes of Health, IT Policy and Review Office in the NIH Office of the CEO. Welcome.
Thank you.
May I have the envelope, please? Stacy, you want to do the honors?
Thank you
this
so
is
much.
a tough part.
I am honored to be here today to present this award to the Parkinson's Disease Biomarker Program Data Management Resource.
Oh, great.
Hi, I'm Margaret Sutherland. I'm from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke. Parkinson's disease is one of our main focuses for our institute. We're one of 27 institutes and centers at the National Institute of Health. And we realized when we're working on Parkinson's disease, one of the challenges in clinical trials is trying to identify biomarkers that will help us be more efficient and come up with better treatments to cure this neurological disorder. So the Biomarker Parkinson's program was set up with that in mind. We have 6 clinical sites that have enrolled in just a short period of time, over 800 participants. And our data management resource is the centerpiece of this biomarkers program. It enables us to share clinical data with the broad research community and really accelerate what we hope will be a major program in terms of bringing those biomarkers to clinical use. We're a big team, 4 program directors at NINDS, Katrina Gwynn, Beth Ann Sieber, Deb Babcock. We work with the Center of Information Technology, Matt's here, as well as Susan and Allison are in the audience. And we also, through the CIT, also work with contract research organizations like SAPIEN and SRA. And so all of us come together. The most important people and participants are the patients themselves, and they're really the ones that are helping us accelerate this program, hopefully move forward with a multitude of biomarkers for Parkinson's disease and better clinical trials.
Thank you. Nice work.
You know, WTOP has a man about town, and I kind of feel like I'm a man about town. I get to a lot of different places. 2 weeks ago, I was at Capitol Hill. I was in the Sam Rayburn building. I met with the president of PMI, a guy named Mark Langley, and a couple of congressmen talked about information technology. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but there's a congressman there, and he said 4 important words, and these words affect everyone in this room. And I wrote them down, so I won't forget them. They're right here. He said the federal government has so many good people. I think that's the lesson today, you know? Let's hear it. All we're trying to do is just recognize the good work that so many good people have accomplished in their careers in the federal government. And if you'd like to join me in the reception area, some goodies and some coffee, let's everyone give everyone a round of applause. Yeah!